I've been in business for so many years, and I kind of take the analogy of the bamboo tree. It takes 5 years to grow its roots. And then for the next 5 weeks, it just grows by 25. It grows 25 meters.
You're listening to Elevate, the official podcast of Elite Agent for real estate industry sales professionals, property managers and leaders. We are proud to present Courageous Conversations, a podcast series focusing on the tough decisions people have made to put themselves on a pathway to success. This episode is brought to you by Connect Now, who makes the business of moving easier for both you and your clients. For more information, visit connectnow.com.au. Please welcome your host, Leanne Pilkington.
Hey everyone, Leanne Pilkington here for the latest edition of Courageous Conversations, and I am thrilled to be speaking to my friend Colin Lee. Hey Colin, how are you?
Good. How are you, Leanne?
Yeah, going very well. I love the Inspire Realty back there in that bit of branding going on. I really need to get across that myself, don't I?
Thank you. Well, it's actually a virtual background. That's my actual boardroom, but I'm working from home. But just want to feel like I'm in the office, you know?
Yeah. No, it looks great. Well done.
Thank you.
So there's lots of things that I could talk to you about, Colin, but as you know, I really love the story about how you got involved in the Mentoring for Men program. So can you take me back to what happened to actually drive you towards that direction?
Yeah, that's a good question. So maybe I'll start with the fact that I've started in the property industry about 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was running an education business, a fairly successful one at it. We won a number of awards. I basically ran that from 2004 to 2011.
Yep.
And I felt really tired from doing that because I was really running a job, really. I was working in a job. I was working 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then I met a very good friend of mine who's become a mentor. He was in his mid-20s and he was running a property management business. So I said to him, mate, how do you run this business? And how do you become so successful at what you do? Because I found out that he's bought about 5 investment properties in his mid-20s. And here I am on the same path, around the same age. He's got a few more properties than I did. And I said to him, mate, do you mind if I pick your brains a little bit? So anyway, we got to know each other really well. Long story short, I said, mate, I'm kind of feeling a little bit exhausted and tired from running my education business. Can I learn something from you? And he goes, actually, why don't you come and join my business? So I started as an assistant property manager and worked my way up, working with tenants and, what you do as assistant property managers. But anyway, a couple of years went by and he says, actually, I think you could become a property manager. So I became a property manager, and invariably, when you manage, your clients' properties, they get you they consider you as an agent to sell the properties. So then I became a sales agent, and anyway, I got involved in properties for a number of years. And then I've always had this dream of starting my own business, Leanne, but I kind of just put that aside. And after a few years working with the property management business, I got headhunted to work in a property development business company, actually one of Sydney's largest. And I was engaged as a property project sales director.
Yep.
So I got involved with property management and then resales with established properties. And I got involved with off-the-plan sales. And then finally, in my last role, when I was just about to start Inspire Realty, this is back in 2016, I said to myself, this is it. This is my time. I'm going to go for it. So I had brought in a few clients. I formed a few relationships with some developers. And then I met this gentleman who's the owner of this big property investment services company. And I decided that I'll do an interview with him, actually. So I had a good chat with him as the president of the Australian, Malaysian, Singaporean Association. And we had probably a good 2-hour chat. At the end of it, I felt so inspired by this gentleman. And I said to him, mate, is it okay if I took you out for dinner and, pick your brains? And I did. And literally a few days later, Leanne, he said, why don't you come and work for me? So I had then put aside again my dreams and desires to start my own business because I felt like I wasn't quite ready. Yeah. I felt like I still need to learn a few things. And I still felt like there's a lot more to learn about property. Long story short, I started in the company as the head of strategic property services. Predominantly helping clients to build their property portfolio, partnering with a number of developers in around the country. Did that for 2.5 years, and I grew the business. I was heading up the North Sydney division. and really added, I think I would have employed about 15 people in the 2.5 years that I was there. So I was running a fairly big sales and marketing team.
Yep.
Anyway, 2.5 years later, Leanne, I get a knock on my door and said, and he calls me in and he says, Colin, I probably shouldn't go into too much detail, but there's a lot of restructuring in the business and there's other priorities that are coming into place. We'll need to talk about your redundancy package. And Leanne, at that time, my wife was 7 months pregnant. Yeah. So I knew that eventually she's going to have to be on maternity leave.
Sure. And not too far away.
Yes. Well, 2 months. 2 months. And I was made redundant in early November. So you can imagine at that time, I had no idea what I was going to do. I mean, I really had to pull back and take a deep breath and reevaluate, whether starting a business would be, a
right time to start a business with a wife and a newborn.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so how did you feel when that happened? Because I know a lot of us connect our identity very strongly with what we do for a living and how well we do it. Yep. How did you cope with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and deep inside me, that's what I wanted to do. But I just could not pluck up enough courage because, I mean, there was a lot of uncertainties with the business. Sure. And who would have known that COVID would strike 3 months into running my business? So I was really scared, Leanne. So I think I really had to think really what I wanted to do for the next, few years. Yeah. But invariably, a bit of insecurity sets in and you think, well, you could start your own business, but what if it doesn't go well? And then how are you going to support your wife? How are you going to support your family? Sure. So it was a pretty big decision. And I started to question whether being an entrepreneur was really my calling or my assignment or, my work. And it was a very, very difficult turning point in my life because I've had to either go full on into applying for jobs and finding something that would pay me a wage or, bite the bullet and just take a big leap of faith and start up my business. Yeah.
And so was that when you reached out to somebody about mentoring, or how did that come about?
Yeah, really good question. So whilst I was working in this company, I met a gentleman, Jono, I'll just say Jono, and he was a very pleasant gentleman. And I remember inviting him to a few of my events with the company. And he used to say, Colin, I really couldn't make it because I've tried a few times. I'm pretty persistent like that. And he says to me, no, I can't. I've got this training that I'm going for, and it's with an organization called Mentoring Men. Yeah. And he literally just dropped the name Mentoring Men. And he briefly told me about the story of the founder, Ian, who, worked in the corporate world and he really felt like he wanted to do something a little bit different in mentoring kids and adults. And anyway, he was looking for a mentor himself. And that's really how he started Mentoring Men. So I thought, this is interesting. And anyway, that months went by. I didn't really think about it. But when I was made redundant, Leanne, I felt like, okay, I mean, so I talked to my wife, I talked to my family, and there's only so much I can really, pick up from them. I thought it'd be nice to speak to someone who could understand me. And I really wanted to speak to a guy that's, a lot older and maybe wiser. So I thought, I remember this gentleman talking about mentoring men and spoke about this founder. So anyway, I Googled mentoringmen.org and, I picked up the phone and I just wanted to speak to someone. I think I was lost. I was just like confused. I just wanted a listening ear. Oopsie. Yeah. And anyway, I picked up the phone and called this 1-800 number. And to my absolute surprise, Ian, who's the founder of Mentoring Men, picks up the phone. Fine. And we just talked and I just poured my heart out, Leanne. And I said to him, Ian, this is a big turning point in my life. I don't know what to do. Should I apply for jobs? And it's November, it's nearing Christmas, I don't know if I could even get something, in the next couple of months. So what do I do? So I think he really guided me. I think a great mentor like Ian asked me really, really good questions. And he helped me to come to my own conclusion, Leanne.
Yeah, and that's what mentoring is all about, right? That people don't make the decisions for you. But good on you for actually reaching out because not everybody's prepared to. And obviously a lot of blokes are not prepared to sort of say, hey, I need some help. So after Ian was helpful for you, what happened?
Yeah, so then I thought I plucked up a bit of courage and I said, you know what, this is it. I have one life. I might as well live it to my fullest.
Have a crack.
That's it. Have a crack. Give it a go. I mean, I kind of felt like I've started early. I've been in business for so many years, and I kind of take the analogy of the bamboo tree. It takes 5 years to grow its roots. And then for the next 5 weeks, it just grows by 25. It grows 25 meters.
Well, there you go. I learned something today that I didn't expect to learn. Thank you.
There you go. So, in the first 5 years, you think nothing is happening. So I kind of felt like, I'm like a bamboo tree. All these years I've been working in property management, resales. I've been doing off the plan sales. I've been doing property investment services and all that. And I picked up a lot of these skills, and I thought, what can I do? What service do I want to provide? What markets do I want to reach? And what do I want to stand for? And so really Ian and many other mentors, really, I didn't have just Ian to help me out. I had business mentors, friends that are entrepreneurs themselves. And I
you've actually started mentoring yourself now, right?
I am. Yes, I have. Yeah. I think that's part of the thing, you pay it forward,
Yeah.
I've been mentored, and now I'm mentoring a couple of gentlemen, and I keep saying to Ian, I get so much more out of mentoring than being mentored. It's really funny.
Yeah, that's true. And if people watching haven't ever been a mentor or a mentee, it is it is one of those things that as a mentor, you do get a lot out of it that you don't expect.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So you started your business, Inspire Realty, and how long before COVID did you start it?
So I started the business. I registered all my insurance and what do you call it? The licenses and all that.
Licenses.
Yeah, exactly. And by the time I registered everything, it was around January, February. So I was made redundant in November. I had 2 months I literally only took about 2 to 3 weeks to kind of look, you know what, this is it, let's go for it. So all through December, when it was quietest, and January, that's when I started applying for all my licenses. So technically I started in January. Yeah. And then, as you know, March was when COVID hit last year. Right.
And so how did you, it's actually a really, a quick point that I want to make is that 2 or 3 weeks you were feeling really lost, but took action and moved through it. And so that's really important for people who might be sitting there going, oh, I just don't know what direction. It's like be proactive about finding that direction, and you can actually move through. So, okay, a couple of...
And, Leanne, speak to someone that is inspiring, encouraging, who's positive, who believes in you. And I think I just decided to surround myself with good people because it was very easy to wallow in my sorrows. I mean, but I also was very motivated. My wife was 7 months pregnant. I knew I had to do something pretty quickly.
Absolutely. You certainly did. And so how did you have to pivot the business? Like what happened to the business after COVID hits a couple of months later?
Yeah, really good question. So when I started Inspire Realty originally back in 2016, I've always had this desire and vision to do resales and property management, which is what I was really good at. So I thought, okay, Inspire Realty, let's do that. But after my encounter with this property investment services firm, which is really helping clients to build their property investment portfolio, I really learned a lot from the company. And it was really about helping people prepare for their future, and just invest in properties. So I decided that I was going to get into that, which is more, building portfolio, strategic planning. Basically, I wanted to be a property advisor or mentor for people, for my clients. And so that kind of shifted the focus of just being a traditional real estate agent and doing resales and property management to more sitting down with a client, looking at their goals, looking at their future life and plans, and looking at what properties would suit them at this point in time, whether that's established property or off the plant properties. So it's about helping my clients accumulate wealth through property.
Yeah, nice. I like it. It's a really, it's a really good concept. So if anybody who's watching feels like they need to reach out to a mentor, how do they find Mentoring Men?
I think it's mentoringmen.org.au. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mentoring Men. I mean, it's everywhere.
Just Google it, right? Mentoring Men.
Google it.
Absolutely. Right. What did we do without Google?
I know.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story to hopefully inspire other people to go down their own path. Exactly. Did you like what I did there?
You did. Thank you.
Oh, dear. All right. I will see you very soon.
Thank you, Leanne. Thank you so much for your time. You take care. Have a nice day.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Courageous Conversations with thanks to connectnow.com.au. Don't forget, to get access to all of Elite Agency's premium resources, including a detailed episode guide for this podcast, visit joineliteagent.com.